Coming up tonight, new details about a train breakdown 2 weeks ago. 123,000 commuters affected that night.
Reinventing the nightclub, Zouk transforms the dance floor into a cinema club.
And taller than some skyscrapers, scientists discover a massive coral reef in Australia. This is the Straits Times Newsnight. I'm Dylan Ang.
I'm Chao Suen. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Taking the East-West line, commuters on the Tuas-West Extension of the East-West line can expect early closures, late openings and full Sunday closures from next month. This is part of an exercise called a pre-emptive changeout by the Land Transport Authority following the disruption of 3 train lines on October 14th.
123,000 commuters were caught up in one of the most serious power-related incidents to hit the MRT network in years. ST's Royston Sims says a big question remains over why the faults happened in the first place.
The Tuas-West Extension is still a very new MRT line, opened in 2017. Now here we are in 2020. We're barely 3 years on, and yet we have these faults happening, and we wouldn't think that this happens so early in the life cycle of the line.
Fingerprints are no longer necessary for identification when travelling, bringing Singapore one step closer to a passport-free future. Starting today, facial and iris scans replace fingerprint scans at all immigration checkpoints in Singapore. Singaporeans, permanent residents, long-term pass holders and other travellers who have registered their iris and facial biometrics can now use the new scans at all land, sea and air checkpoints. More than 2 million Singaporeans, or about 70% of all eligible Singaporeans, have registered their iris and facial biometrics.
Also today, a warning from the Monetary Authority of Singapore that the economy will take longer to recover than in past recessions. That's because the COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately affected services such as food and beverage, retail, aviation and hospitality. MAS says the recession will continue to weigh on the job market and wages into next year. Speaking of COVID-19, let's take a look at the situation here. 7 new cases were confirmed today, all of whom were imported and have been placed on stay-home notices since their arrival here. There were no community cases and none in workers' dormitories.
Lovers of music, ballet and theatre, here's something for you. Attending live performances will soon be allowed again. With small-scale live performances set to resume on Sunday, the National Arts Council announced the list of venues allowed to host indoor live performances on its website today.
They include performing arts venues, art galleries, some museums, community centres and hotel ballrooms and function rooms. Arts and culture organisations such as orchestras, choirs and dance groups are also allowed to hold live performances on their premises.
Exciting news. So Dylan, what are you most excited to see live again?
Music for sure. As a musician myself, I can't wait to be able to attend such gigs again.
Over in the US, a self-help guru convicted of running a cult-like organisation of sex slaves has been sentenced to 120 years in prison. As the leader of Nexium, Keith Renier was convicted in June 2019 on all 7 charges brought against him, including racketeering, sex trafficking, extortion, criminal conspiracy and the sexual exploitation of a 15-year-old girl.
Brunei's Prince Abdul Azim died on Saturday from multiple organ failure due to an autoimmune disease, his younger brother revealed in a heartfelt Instagram post. Prince Abdul Mateen said that his brother was diagnosed with severe systemic vasculitis earlier this year, a condition characterized by inflammation of blood vessel walls. Paying tribute to his elder brother, he said there was never a dull day when Abang Azim was around. Brunei is now in a 7-day mourning period. Let's take a look at some of the most read stories today. Close to $12,000 in donations have been raised to help defray the medical bills of an 8-year-old girl who has been in a coma since she was flung out of a van during an accident last Friday. She's now in intensive care at KK Women's and Children's Hospital after suffering a head injury and broken legs. The family will stop taking donations at 11 p.m. tonight.
From a nightclub to a restaurant to a spin studio, what else is new at Zouk? The homegrown entertainment and lifestyle giant is now rolling out the red carpet to cinema goers. The latest offering at Zouk Singapore, a social cinema club, will open its doors this Friday. Complete with popcorn from Garrett, champagne and house-pour spirits, the main room will be transformed into a cinema from Wednesday to Saturday nights. But it won't be just like any other cinema experience.
We can be very thematic, right? So every month we can actually change the whole outlook of the cinema. So for this time around, we've got this kind of cabaret Moulin Rouge feel. So we've got kind of, we had one of our partners, MHD, come in, and they really decorated it out. So it almost feels like you're coming into like the really like 1950s and stuff, right? And I think we want to theme the movies, theme the food, theme the drinks, everything towards being thematic. So when you come inside, you almost feel like you're in a different world, right?
While its dance floors and party crowds have all but disappeared, this latest pivot for Zouk is part of its plan to keep the spirits high and flowing, despite nightclubs being forced to stay closed.
Obviously, hopefully there will be some type of revenue stream from here. If you compare them to when we were like a nightclub, obviously they can't compare. There's still a fraction of what it was. But for us, we don't want to stand still. We want to keep on kind of pushing that boundary, because the cinema might not work, right? In 3-4 months' time, maybe it doesn't work. We might have to change to something new, right? So it's that point where we just keep on, trying new ideas to see which one kind of fits and which one makes business sense.
So Suen, sounds like something right up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Dylan, but I'm so excited for this. It's a combination of some of my favorite things, movies, friends, and nights out.
Now, indeed, but you might have to wait because the cinema slots for Halloween are already booked out. Now, local movie fans, listen up. Hot on the heels of the release of #1, here are some Singapore-made films you can look forward to in the coming weeks. Currently scheduled to be in theatres at the end of November is The Tiam Tiam Era, which continues the story of the Lim family from the movie Long Time Ago. Directed by Jack Neo, it also stars Mark Lee, Henry Tia and Suhaimi Yusof.
Remember photographer Chuan Do Tan, whose Instagram pictures went viral back in 2017? Well, he's back and taking on the lead as a doctor caught in a web of deceit, sex and lies in the murder drama Precious is the Night. That's set to be released later on December 10th.
Now, before we go, bigger than New York City's Empire State Building and the Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur. Now, no, it's not another skyscraper. It's actually a coral reef. An enormous 500-meter tall reef has been discovered in Australia's Great Barrier Reef, the first newfound reef in 120 years. Located off the coast of North Queensland, scientists aboard a research vessel from the Schmidt Ocean Institute live-streamed the robotic dive over the weekend.
And that wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.